Miami Condo Mondays is a live podcast on the first workday of the week at 4 p.m. South Florida time. The program features former journalist and current Wall Street consultant Peter Zaleski of the Miami Condo Investing Club and former lender and veteran condo broker Jenny Huertas of CVRRealty.com. Recorded weekly in greater downtown Miami, this 1-hour discussion will provide a refreshing and sometimes controversial perspective on the state of the South Florida condo market from a pair of seasoned real estate professionals who do not always agree. The program won't tell you what to think about the South Florida condo market, but will give you something to think about before buying, selling, taking listings, or financing units. This podcast is not authorized by the Miami real estate industry and will quite possibly annoy many of its figureheads. Welcome to this week's episode of Miami Condo Mondays, broadcast live on the social media accounts of Peter Zaleski and Jenny Huertas.
Happy Monday, Miami. This is Miami Condo Mondays, a conversation about what's going on in the South Florida condo market. I'm Peter Zaleski, condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club, joined here by my partner, my co-host, I'm not going to say the moderator, but the person who brings reality to the conversation, no one else but Jenny Huertas. She is the broker owner of CVR Realty. Check out our website, cvrrealty.com. Jenny, you know what we're talking about today? We're talking about the winter buying season, that period of time when everybody comes to town to shop, that period from November through April. Maybe they come for an event. Maybe they come for a cruise. Maybe they come to go on vacation. They inevitably catch the bug. They go out, they shop for a condo. They negotiate. They look to transact. And ultimately, that deal closes in the summer buying season, which we're in right now. Summer goes from May, Jenny, all the way through October. But the winter, that's when you sort of bring in the buyers. You have them kick the tires and you try to convince them that this is the place you want to be. Jenny, guess what happened in the winter buying season? We've just run the numbers. We got the totals. Sales are up. Prices down, just like we were predicting. If you take a look at what's going on in South Florida, and we're going to do it. We're going to show you bar charts. We're going to show you line charts. We're going to show you numbers. We're going to show you averages. We're going to show you medians so you get a real good sense as to what happened in the winter. Why is winter important? Because it leads into the momentum. That momentum that builds up for the winter, it flows into the summer. When it starts to get hot, it starts to get humid, and you start to get hurricane warnings. Jenny, you ready to talk about the good old days of the winter buying season as we look at 90, 95-degree temperatures? We look at 95% humidity, and we look at a 95% chance of rain.
Yes, let's do it. I mean, this winter was really fast. It went really fast. I can't believe we are already in May, middle of May, actually. Crazy.
Don't rush it. Slow down. You don't want to be rushing it too much. I don't want it to go way too fast. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So Jen, what we're going to do is we're going to give everybody a bonus. We're not only going to talk about South Florida in terms of the overall market, we're going to look at the luxury condo market. And within our 1-hour period, we're going to hit Dade, Miami-Dade. We're going to hit Broward. We're going to hit Palm Beach County. We're going to show you charts, stuff going up and down. And you know how far back we're going to go, Jenny? Take a guess. How many years back are we going to go winter buying seasons? Year over year over year over year. How many years do you want to guess?
20?
20 years. We're taking you back 2 decades. We're taking you back to the run up to the peak of the great South Florida condo boom, which is what the South Side people like to talk about, and the bust. We're going to show you the data. We're going to show you what traded. We're going to help you understand where we are in the marketplace. And we're going to show you too another thing, Jenny. We're starting to see a bifurcation. Average prices might be going up. Median numbers are going down. You know why that is? Because more deals are trading at a lower price, but you got a couple big dogs that are trading. Why? Because the sellers are discounting them, and it's skewing the numbers. So we got both of them, Johnny. We got the average, and we got the median number. You're going to have a real good perspective at the end of this podcast as to what would happen in the winter buying season of 2025, 2026, and going all the way back to 2005, 2006. I was 4 years old back then, Jenny.
I believe it. You still look 4 years old. No worry.
Jenny, before we get started and we kind of unveil all the information to everybody, I should ever tell everybody, listen, we're going to be talking about where we're going in the future. We're doing it on Wednesday at 4:00. We're doing our monthly meeting. We do a monthly meeting on second Wednesday of every month. We had been doing it at noon. No more, Jen. Nix that. We're doing 4 o'clock. Why are we doing it 4 o'clock? Because we want you to think every day at 4 o'clock, there's going to be a condo discussion going on. You can always check it out at miamicondo.club, or you can go to some of our social media websites. So 4 o'clock, tune in, watch it live. If you want to watch it on demand, you got to be a member of the Miami Condo Investing Club. To get information on joining the club, go to miamicondo.club. Same place where you can actually watch the live stream if you're not catching it on social media. We're talking condos every day at 4 o'clock. Mondays, I do Miami Condo Mondays with Jenny. Tuesdays, we're doing a Miami Condo Exchange where we get into what's going on statistically, looking at the condo market as if it's a large trading pit, a trading floor for condos. Back in the day, Jenny, before you could order a stock or buy crypto or short a stock on your phone, back in the day, you had a broker. You would call that broker. That broker would write up an order, they'd come up with the order. They'd send it down to the floor where they were trading all these commodities. They were trading bonds. They were trading whatever. And lo and behold, that person on the other side of the phone, they'd catch it. They'd write down the order and they'd give it to a runner. Runner would take it into the pit. It was like an octagon-shaped area. People were in there. They were wearing a jacket. They had a number on, maybe a different color. And they hands out was selling, hands in were buying, and that's how the market was made. I look at condos in South Florida as a trading pit. These are not a family of four and a dog living the American dream. These are speculators, SP. I'm not going to spell it for you, but that's kind of the sense. Wednesday, the Peter Zalewski Show. I do a one-on-one conversation with somebody I think is important. Somebody needs to be on your radar. Thursday, we're going to go ahead and we'll do the condo capitalism, in which I deal with what is going on in the distressed real estate market, whether it's a forced sale, a foreclosure, a short sale. You hear what I said? A forced sale. FORESALE. Hey, maybe that's a brand new business. And then on Friday, we're going to be rolling out a brand new podcast. It's going to be dealing with condo associations. We're going to be rating condo associations. That is our initiative over the summer called the Condo Ratings Agency. I'll be doing that on Friday at 4 o'clock. We're going to be telling you which condos are a buy, which ones are a sell, and how do we come up with a conclusion. We're not going to look at what it's the smell of the lobby. We're not paying attention to any of that. We're going to get into the numbers. We're going to tell you whether or not these things are economically feasible, viable, sustainable. So that'll be on Friday. So basically 4 o'clock weekdays, you can tune in and you can watch it live. And if you want to watch it on demand because you're tied up, you got to be a member of the club, miamicondo.club. And by the way, one of the things you get as a club member, you are going to get access to this monthly meeting. I tell you, where are we, where were we, and where we are going. I always give you a base case. In this month's meeting, 2 days from now, 13th of May, 4 o'clock, I'm going to be telling you what I anticipate for the summer buying season. Another thing you're going to get as part of being a club member is you are going to, besides getting Wall Street analysis, we do consulting for Wall Street. Numbers we share is basically Wall Street grade, market moving intelligence. We dig into the crevices. We figure stuff out. We don't give you the Chamber of Commerce sell side talk about 1,000 people a day coming to Florida and the trees are growing to the moon. No. We're going to cut through it. We're going to give you the straight talk so you can go out there and do whatever it is you want to do. Whether you're a DIY buyer, do it yourself, you want to go it alone, join the club. Whether you're a buyer and you're working with a realtor, maybe you trust a realtor, maybe you don't. So join the club. Maybe you're a listing agent. You can't sell that damn condo. You spent $2,500 taking pictures. You're marketing it. Nobody's calling you. Join the club. Maybe you're a lender. You're thinking about putting money on the streets. Maybe you got private money, or maybe you're just simply putting together a deal on behalf of a bank. Join the club. Maybe you're a regulator. Maybe you're up there in Tallahassee, Washington, whatever. You're trying to figure out what's going on in the condo market. Join the club. Maybe you're a gadfly. You want something to talk about. You go to a, lunch meeting. Maybe you go to Rotary. Maybe you go to, you call it. Join the club. We'll give you something to talk about. I was a journalist for 13 years. After that, I wrote a column, Miami Herald, Miami Real Deal. Did that for 5 years. After that, I basically just been all in on the condo world, but I've been playing the game and tracking that market since effectively 1993. Unfortunately, our data today is only going back to 2005. So I was actually, Jenny, at that point, I think I was like -8 or so in 1993. When I
say, wait a second, you're going way back before you were 7.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, if you guys are looking for straight talk, you're looking for institutional knowledge. That's kind of what we bring. Not only myself, but Jenny. Jenny's been down here since the early '90s as well. She's played the game. She was a financier before that. Now she has her own brokerage. She is my exclusive partner. Anybody comes to me looking for a deal, I send it to Jenny. We work hand in hand on deals. So if you guys want to play the game, maybe you're chasing the vintage condos. Jenny, those vintage condos, that's a term we came up with. We came up with a lot of terms being used in the industry. They now adopted them as the law of the land. Well, vintage condos, those condos 30 years old or older, these are the ones under greater scrutiny because of what happened nearly 5 years ago with the Surfside condo collapse. Nearly 100 people died. $1 billion settlement paid out to the families of victims. Legislation has all changed. The rules have changed. But you know what hasn't changed? Good value. Vintage condos, those condos are 30 years old or older that go through the mandatory inspections where a licensed architect, licensed engineer checks it out. They come up in a report. They turn it over to the numbers people who assign a dollar amount to repair the thing. They give it to the condo board. The condo boards now have to fund all of this stuff. This is creating opportunity. Jenny, we were told that buyers were going to come in and they were going to shun, they were going to hide, they were going to avoid vintage condos. You know what's happening? People are buying vintage condos. They're not buying the regular stuff. You know why? 40% cheaper asking price on a vintage condo versus another one. And you know when you go to a vintage condo? It was built 30 years ago. Better location. Some of the new stuff they're putting up, it's in shitty, well, I want to say shitty, but it is shitty locations. And you know what else is going on? The new ones are smaller, they're tighter, cost too much to build. The old stuff, 1 bed, 1,200 square feet, 2 bed, 2,000. What do you give it a new one? 700, 750 square feet on a 1 bed, 1,000 for a 2 bed. So if you were looking for a place to live, chances are vintage are probably gonna make more sense because it's a better location and more square footage. If you were an investor, vintage might not make sense because they're bigger. However, if you buy cheap enough, they will make sense. That's where Jenny and her team, her vintage condo team at CVR Realty comes in. So if you guys are looking for value, you want to play the game, you understand the rules of engagement, which is basically this is an eat or be eaten type of climate right now. You need some people with a little bit of gray hair, some battle scars, and understand how the game has worked. And that's kind of what we're bringing to you. If you want to go it alone, join the club, MiamiCondo.club. Jenny, did I miss anything?
No, you say it perfectly.
Well, one thing I did miss is we're going to be offering club members access to our condo ratings agency. So if you're a club member, you're going to be able to gain access to you're not going to get all of it, but you are going to get access. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell you, is the building a buy? Is it a hold? Is it a sell? How does it compare to its peer group? So we'll be laying out the numbers just like we always do, not sugarcoating it and giving our little secret sauce to give you an idea whether or not we think you ought to be looking or we think you ought to be passing. And what do you do with that information? You factor it in as part of your overall equation. Then you go in there and you make an offer. And Jenny, you know what I'm saying about making offers today? Low ball, low ball, low ball. And what do you say to that?
I said no ball, but with a sense, like you really take a look at the numbers and make it happen. Because otherwise, it depends on the situation, really. But if you look closer to it, you can make a real well-informed low-ball offer.
Well, you didn't say what you were saying. You used to say lower ball, lower ball, lower ball, not low ball. I'm about low ball. I'm about take it down to the bottom and go at it hard. And you're more like, let's be a little bit more, of a compromise.
Yes, exactly. Because at the end of the day, you want your buyers to take advantage of any given opportunity, and sometimes you have to pay a little bit more.
Awesome. See, we did that quick. That was 13 minutes. I got an hour. Jenny, that means I got 47 minutes or so to get through the next of it. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump right into the charts because I think when you guys see the visuals, you're going to be like, oh, that's interesting. What we're going to show you is we're going to show you overall market, which is every condo. Could be old, could be new, could be great location, could be crap location. Then we're going to show you the luxury. How do you define luxury? $1 million or more. Some people say today 1 million is not anything special. We say $1 million differentiates the peasant condo, the conventional condo, the overall condo, and then luxury will be $1 million or more. We have categories going forward, which when you go from 1 million to 4.99, that'll be a luxury condo. When you go from 5 to 9.99, we're calling that super luxury. And if you're $10 million or more, that is ultra luxury. So when we get into the luxury side, we're just going to deal with anything with $1 million price tag or more. So we got overall, which is everything. and then we got luxury. That's how we're breaking out, Jen.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, so let's pull it up. And I should tell everybody you're watching this live. Because you're watching the live, you're going to see everything. Once we download this podcast, we edit it, i.e. for template as well as sound. This is all going to be behind a paywall. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you sort of enjoy the ride because you're going to get a real good perspective of what's going on in the South Florida condo market. And it's not Chamber of Commerce talk, with all due respect to all my South Side brethren out there. So let's pull it up.
Okay.
You can see I'm very fired up because I've been running these numbers, and I cannot wait to show it off in all its glory. You ready, Jenny?